So, tell me, I've run into so many people from the Czech Republic. Even back in the 80s, when I started going to IBMA and stuff, there would be people from that part of the world, like Robert Creston, he's from Slovakia, I guess. But
No.
back
It's
in
Czech.
back in those days, we didn't really, it was the same, So. But anyway, so there is a strong tradition, I know, of banjo and stuff. How did y'all get involved?
Mm, Maybe I will ask Tomáš to start because his history will be the longest here. He got
Hmm.
involved in the 90s, and then we will at our history. So probably Tomáš will start.
Yeah.
Yeah, my history of bluegrass goes back just to 1998. Before I played like more folk music on guitar, and I discovered this music quite late in my life, in my 30s. So then I started to play with a band in Czech Republic from 1998 to 2005, and then I moved to Sweden
Yeah.
to work, and then I played with several bands there also. I lived
Yeah.
there 10 years.
The one that introduced you to me was Jens Koch, the banjo player in Stockholm.
Yeah,
I
I know him. So I met him several times. I don't know him so close, but yeah, he's a really good banjo player.
He talked very favorably about you. So
thanks.
yeah.
Yeah,
Really.
I started jam also in when I lived in Stockholm. So there's a still jam once per week in Irish pub actually. So it's where this bluegrass jam, and I think Jens is going there sometimes too. I met also Erik Igelström, which Jan met in Prague. Yeah, Honza. You met both, Jan, yeah? Jens
I think
Koch
so.
and,
Yeah, Jens. I jammed
Erik.
with him. Yeah, both of them. I met them at Pruka's place at his shop.
Yeah,
So,
at this Prucha, yeah.
Yeah, he's
it was a nice jam there. So
yeah. So when you sing, do you sing in Czech or do you sing in English or?
We sing only in English right now, and I'm not sure if we are planning to switch to Czech because English is fitting bluegrass a little more, but we can never know what will happen.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like when I played in bands in Sweden, to sing in Swedish, it was almost unthinkable. It would be so corny or not cool. But now I guess there's more of that.
Yeah.
Ma'am, would you please unmute your microphone?
Unmute. Jo, hej, prosím.
I think Johanka is muted.
I still haven't heard your voice,
Hi.
So, Johanna, what do you play?
Mandolin.
Okay. So who's your big influence?
I think Sierra Hall, but
Uh-huh.
my teacher, Petr Vrobel, and Martin Krajček.
These are Czech teachers and guys playing mandolin here. They're not real bluegrass musicians. They are more into other genres like swing and other, but they're really good instrumentalists. So these guys.
Yeah, it's. Have you played any Czech folk music, instrumental or so?
Yeah, I kind of grown up on Czech folk music because my grandfather was involved in a tramping movement, so he taught me a lot of these folk or country Czech music, and that's where I started. So yeah, I kind of grown up on that, and then switched to bluegrass when I was 15, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So, Johanna, how did you get introduced to the bluegrass?
Well, my story is
It was
only
oh, yeah,
about
okay.
5 years old. I'm playing the banjo for about 5 years now,
Okay.
and we have bluegrass in my family because my dad has two bands here in Czech Republic. He has the band Sunnyside. I don't know if you heard of them,
Yeah.
and the band Barbecue. When I'm actually substituting the banjo player now.
Yeah.
So as I said, I've been playing the banjo for the past 5 years, and my dad got me into bluegrass music. I started on guitar, but then I moved to banjo 1 year after doing that. So
Mhm. I yeah, there's a lot of young people, I see that play really well, and and it's inspiring for me to be around young musicians. That's for sure. The old people my age, they don't have the enthusiasm that the young people have. They're kind of
That's
not.
right.
Yeah, they just want to sit and talk about their tour buses or where is the best mechanics or something like that for their tour buses. Some of them have very little interest in music, really. But I like to see these young kids. I have two students who now play with the Tennessee Bluegrass Band,
huh?
Okay.
Jake and Joe Sheffield. If you've checked them out, that's Lincoln Hensley's band.
Yeah, I know Lincoln Hensley. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just talked to him earlier. I told him about I was going to talk to you. Uh, so tell me, Tomas, what does your set list look like?
Well, since we are playing uh, since October together, so just a few months, we didn't have a chance to come up with some, let's say, non-traditional and not really known songs. So we kind of started with the songs that are played on jam sessions we all know. So our set list currently is pretty much traditional.
Yeah.
All the really known songs like Old Home Place, called Schizophrene or whatever. But we are trying to give it, let's say, a new new grass style a little, or some more energy than from the recordings from 80s, 70s. So
Mm.
traditional songs, but with a different young and modern energy, let's say.
Yeah. You know, the term bluegrass, like a label, a genre, it used to be very easy to relate to. If somebody said bluegrass, you had a pretty good idea that it was going to be somewhere in the five-piece band with bluegrass with banjo and fiddle and mandolin and all that.
Yeah.
And while the instruments have remained about the same, the sounds have changed so much.
Exactly.
And the same development is in jazz music. If you say, I love jazz, what does that mean? If it's from the 1905, or is it contemporary improv? I mean, it's such a huge field.
Yes,
And, and
I
that
agree with that.
and that's what's happening to bluegrass now when you see Mumford and Son categorized as, or Pearl Jam. These
Yes.
bands had nothing to do with bluegrass, and still they're so it's become like a dump, a little bit. Like, oh, that's bluegrass.
Yeah, we are kind of enjoying the sound of bands like Deer Creek Boys, Daryl Webb, or these guys. Jan will probably add more. uh, so, yeah, we totally try to cover the traditional setup. We are missing fiddle right now, but we are trying to find someone who will join us with the fiddle. But as you're saying, we are playing traditional songs from past century, but giving it a new vibe.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Uh, I I'm you know there's good music everywhere, and talking about categories, and it's really look at Grisman, for example, how he's created his own recognizable individual style of music, you know.
Mm.
And he's done that in such a tasteful way, but he's kind of, you know, juxtaposed. Um, he's taken bluegrass and a little klezmer, a little Django Reinhardt, Stefan Grappelli music. I mean, there's such a mix, and it's so he's taken the essence from every
Yes.
style of music,
Yes.
and yeah, and done it tastefully, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
this should definitely be a goal, but we didn't have a time to collect these samples
These
from
styles.
from different styles and collect it in our own style. But we are slowly trying to involve something from swing or jazz music. So yeah, definitely.
yeah, I mean that's a good way, you know. You learn the standards, you know,
Yes.
and then you can create your own style. And it's not going to say, well, I don't want to play the standard material. I want to just be innovative.
Yeah.
And
Yes, I
you ha-
agree with that. I
but you
very
have
agree
to,
with that.
but you have to know the basics, you know.
Yeah. I
It's
also
like when you're building a house, you can't start with the roof.
That's
You have to
right.
start,
No,
yeah, you have to start with the foundation, then build the walls, then get the roof done,
yeah,
and then you
well,
can tweak the details. I
yeah.
mean,
Uh,
I always wanted to be like someone. My first big influence was Billy Strings, but later I currently found out that I don't want to be like someone and I want my own style, so that's what we are working on.
yeah. And how do you get there? To
You mean making our own style?
yes, you know, like you have your like your own personal tone or whatever.
yeah, if I
See,
could answer that,
yeah,
Well, I approach my style. I collect the good things from musicians.
yeah.
If I take banjo players, for example, around block, you get nice attack, you get the nice timing. Then you can see Jason Davis. You get progressive modern you get progressive standard banjo. You see
Mm-hmm.
You see JD Crow, the foundation of like I would say like classical bluegrass, when you have the standards played very well, and I take like samples from these guys and I combine them, and that's what I should call
Mhm.
my own style, because I look up to them. Like,
Yeah. You know, I I came here at a time. It's in 1986 when and I ended up coming from Sweden, like almost no bluegrass. And then I ended up in North Carolina and staying with the bluegrass promoter. You know, I had like all these people, Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver, calling his house, you know, and I answered the phone. Yeah, hey, this is Doyle Lawson, or this is Tony Rice, or something like that. And anyway, to me, these musicians are like just teenage idols, you know. Like you might have soccer players or hockey players. It's like these were my idols, and within, you know, I just kind of ended up in the right place at the right time. So you of course familiar with Bobby Hicks
Yeah.
and Tony Rice and JD
of
and
course,
the bluegrass album band people, you know, like I went to the first IBMA, and there I was staying with my friend Milton Harkey, who is the promoter, and in our room there was the bluegrass album band with, you know, Crow and them came and rehearsed in our room. So I was sitting there on the couch and just listening to them, and I was struck by how very soft they were playing. So that's one of the problems that you probably have noticed at jams. Everybody's playing so loud. There's no dynamics, and you probably have dealt with these things at jams and stuff.
Well, yes, but actually no, because we experience two types of jams. There are the jams you are talking about, everybody just smashing the guitars, and everything's loud, no dynamics. Yeah, but we are trying to.
This is, you know, how I just, you know, like gonna just beat the dog shit
Yeah.
out of the guitar.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah.
yeah. But we more like enjoy the jams in just a few people, maximum 8 to 10 maybe,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
they
pick
all,
fives.
yeah, they all need to be a good musicians. They all need to know the dynamics, everything, and then it's working out. It's like a band made of guys that aren't playing together.
Oh. Yeah, that you
They
know,
don't need to be. They need to be like tech. They need to be. They don't need to be like super technical. But if
no,
you
no,
if you get the if you get the chemistry together,
they
I
need
mean,
to. Yeah,
it,
I talk about like dynamic awareness. You know, so when the
when someone is
guitar is
soloing, you quiet down.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, for a lot of the jam kind of thing situations, it's just wide open from just one volume, you know.
Yeah. We are, or me personally, Jan as well. I think we are always trying to go to some other room with some bunch of people
Yeah.
and trying to make some, let's say, more quality jam or
Yeah, well,
yeah.
totally. That's why I hardly ever go to jams anymore. I don't want to. I get so irritated, and I don't want to be kind of a jerk, you know, in public. But it's easy. It's
Yeah.
easier.
I get you. I get you.
So yeah.
I'm
So
I'm totally fine playing in these kind of jams, but I'm only playing rhythm guitar when I get solo. I don't care if I can hear myself or not. I just
yeah.
enjoy the
Well,
vibe of the people.
yeah. Well, you know, I just can't handle too much. You know, I've been a teacher for so long, and then go to jam, and then I kind of have that role still in me, and then people think I'm a total control freak
Oh, but you are not.
because I say, okay, you're playing too loud, I can't hear, and everybody gets irritated with that. So it's not easy to be a bluegrass educator, but it's rewarding.
Yeah.
I can
Exactly.
I can
Mm.
imagine.
So do you teach students now? Any of you?
No, I don't. Jan know as well. I think Tomáš is not teaching as well. So
No, it's on the opposite side. We go to workshops and try to be better.
Yeah.
So it's next month or in April we go to, you know, Ondra Kozák, new aliquot, Jan, maybe
No?
not. It's I think he was in IBMA in
yeah,
with
he was.
Radim.
Yeah.
Who is?
You know Zenkel,
What's his name?
Ondra Kozák. He's a fiddle and guitar player, and he plays with Radim Zenkel. You know him, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they play together. So he is like a mentor and teacher, and
Yeah. He's a multi
Right.
instrumentalist. He has
Yeah.
he has all his instruments under control, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except banjo.
Except banjo.
So
Yeah.
so we really appreciate that he makes workshops like several times per year. Now we go with Matyáš to one of them. It's quite far away, 350 kilometers for
Oh.
4 days, but there are jams every day, and we can get possibility to improve on our instrument and always learn something new. So that's
Yeah.
really good.
But you know what I have learned maybe the most from is to teach people how to play. There is a lot of things that as a musician you just do it intuitively. You don't even think about it. You have to be able to explain why is there an upstroke there? Why is there a downstroke there? And what, you know, these details. And when I started teaching, it took me some work to be able to explain these things, and you know.
Well,
Yes, but
I experienced this, but I don't think I am a good music teacher. I actually studied music for 12 years. I was studying piano, not a guitar. And I had some students when I finished my studies, but I was never able to teach them all the skills I had. I simply could not explain how I'm doing the things. I'm simply doing it exactly as you say.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it and just doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes someone asks me, like when I meet with some of my friends from the Czech Republic here, banjo players, they ask me about some stuff, and I usually tell them like, bring your banjo and like show me what you need to improve on. And when I see it, I show them how I would pursue the same problem, and usually the outcome is like they understand it. So
Yeah.
I'm not teaching anyone, like I'm not doing any lessons, like I don't have like a schedule when I'm doing lessons for people, but sometimes when someone asks me like this stuff, I usually can explain them. So
That's good. You know, a lot of people, especially the first generation bluegrass players, they were not really analytical in a way that today's musicians are. They didn't really know the terminology, how to talk about the music. I mean, Bill Monroe couldn't really, in any meaningful way, describe his music. I mean, he had no technical terminology, but he expressed it in his own way,
He just did it.
Huh?
He just did the music.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Monroe, he every 10 years he invented himself. And see, there's like chunks of 10 years like that where Monroe's style changes.
changed. Yeah.
You have the era there with he and Charlie played here in my hometown in Raleigh, actually. They played here in the 1937 and 1938. And when I first came here, I would meet up every now and then. I would see old people who remember Charlie and Bill Monroe coming to their high school and play, So this is pretty cool
nice.
memories,
Yeah, that is something we don't have in Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so how far are you all living from apart? Are you all in Prague area?
Well, here in Czech Republic, it's actually everything is kind of compact. It's not like in America when someone
Right.
lives on the other side of the states.
Yeah.
So it's about 1 hour drive till we
Okay.
get together.
Yeah, but our
What is-
rehearsals
what
are
is-
usually in Prague, so we just all drive to Prague, maximum 1 hour, and we meet there.
Yeah, like Prague is
1
in the
hour.
middle.
Yeah.
I live in Prague, so we sometimes we meet there. And Johanka is from Plzeň, which is 100 kilometers to the west.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm from Mladá
Yeah.
Boleslav. That's 100
Yeah.
kilometers to the north. So
What's your town?
Mladá Boleslav. It's where the car company Škoda is seated.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Plzeň is where the beer comes from.
Yeah, the good
Those
beer.
are cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I lived in Sweden, Eastern Europe was not easy to go to. I only been to Russia several times, but I never went to. We had planned to go there just to drink beer,
Yeah,
Mm.
obvious reason.
Yeah, but it never happened. So
Number one thing you can do in Czech Republic.
It still can. We have some good festivals here that are
Yes.
worth to come. One will be in June. We'll hopefully get to play there in 1 week.
well, that's right.
So
So what
if you
can
ne-
I do to? You need to get recognition if I share this on all my social media.
Actually, the competition is based on 4, let's say, votes. One vote is from YouTube, so the band with the most likes on the video is winning. That's something we, I think, already achieved. The competition will close on 4th of April, but we are leading over over than 200 likes. So I think this vote is already ours. let's hope. But there are 3 more from judges. We don't know them, but we hope they will like our music and give us their votes. So
Yeah.
there is nothing more we can do right now. Just wait.
Well, you
And
know,
of course, there are more festivals, so which we play later on in the summer. But this one is the oldest one and the biggest one in Europe. It's Prestige Festival.
yeah.
So we hope to be there, and this opens doors to
So-
something else for the future.
Yeah, and this year there's a very spicy lineup, I would say, the bands there.
Yeah.
So I would recommend to come. Anyone?
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to come. I can't really travel these days.
It's every year, so 2026 saves it.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been to Sweden since 2018. You know, it was COVID and all that, and time goes by.
Yeah, we are aiming to play on some Swedish festivals as well. I'm not sure if we'll make it this year. I think not, but
I was gonna see with Thomas. Do you have any contacts with Torsåker and Gränland?
Yeah, I have contacts there, so I already talked to people from Torsåker and from Erik Moreau in Gränna. Just send them our recordings and tell them maybe we can play there for the future. And then there's a Torsten Jakobsson in Ätran. Now he's a different guy there he's from Holland but living in Sweden. But there are not so many festivals in Sweden, but there's one in Finland too. It's the Road to 50, where I also have some people, and one in Norway. Stränger i gräs. So yeah.
I have a student. His name is John Tier, and he plays in the band called Chatham County Line, and they played a lot in Norway.
Yeah. So bluegrass is maybe not the biggest thing in Scandinavia, but still it's popular, and the bands there, like there's a band now called Fat Moose, where Jens Koch and Erik Igelström plays. So it's Jimmy Sunebrandt on bass.
He was my student when he was a little kid, you know.
Yeah. And I played with his father, with Leif Sunebrandt. I played with a band called Yellow and Bluegrass when I was in Sweden.
Yeah.
So he was a bass player. I played violin there. So it was
That was
really,
like
really good. Band.
Was that Bo Gustafsson?
Sorry?
Was that Bosse Gustafsson or?
Bosse Gustafsson, Christian Nielsen, he died some years ago.
I know.
Simon Öhman and Leif Sunebrandt and me.
They all came here. They all came here and spent like a week with me.
Yeah. So nice guys.
I got a somebody gave me a gallon of homemade, like what they call moonshine, you know, hembränt in Swedish.
Yeah.
A whole gallon. And I don't drink alcohol myself anymore.
Means?
So I said, guys, do you want some of this? And they drank out of it for a week, and they didn't even empty it, you know. So it was pretty powerful stuff.
A gallon of moonshine.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's like
you're not emptying that in a week.
That's 3.8 liters of 60% or 75.
More. You can light that on fire.
Yeah. So did something happen? It's an inner picture. Let me see here. All right. So
maybe Johanka can tell us something more, since she was quite quiet. Can you tell us maybe something about your bluegrass history when you started to play Johanka bluegrass mandolin?
Johanka looks like she's frozen.
Yeah, she's frozen.
Yeah.
She has some problems she had some problems with the signal, but
we ask her later.
I probably can answer for her because I know everything about her bluegrass history, because I was the one that introduced her to the bluegrass. We met on a bluegrass camp.
And she's back.
Okay, we met. Oh, no, she's not.
She disconnected her.
So we met
does she have a bad connection?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
We met like 3 years ago, I think, 3-4 years ago on a music camp. It wasn't exactly bluegrass camp, but luckily there was a lot of musicians from bluegrass, so the camp was influenced by bluegrass a lot, and That was where I met Johanka, and we were in contact. We chatted together, and then when I come up with the idea of forming a band, I wanted to base the band on young people, so she was the first that came up to my mind, and I wanted her on mandolin in this band. So this is pretty much her history. She didn't play in any other bluegrass band. She has like 3 years experience in bluegrass, so she's kind of fresh here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So can we get her back on? Maybe she can play a little bit for us.
I'm not sure because she was writing college entrance exams today, and
Oh,
she told me her brain is working on like 5%, so I'm not sure she'll be able to
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah, well,
And as Matyáš was talking about getting the band together, me and Matyáš met last year on the Banjo Jamboree we talked about.
Yeah.
And we jammed there and we were like, okay, let's try this. So that's how we got together.
yeah. Can you so I want to play some of your videos when I post this.
Yeah.
Some and maybe the entire songs or maybe parts of songs and
Yeah, I will.
But-
I will cut it here in this part of the video if you want.
yeah. So what I was going to say, we don't have to play them now, but if you could think of a few tunes and then you can talk about them a little bit, so we can play. For example, play the video and then you can talk about the song or whatever.
Sure.
So let's say if you pick out 3 different pieces or what would you do?
We can, but we don't have any our own music yet.
But you have a few videos or
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these are not our originals. But we can definitely send it to you and get some talk about it.
Let's
yeah.
maybe talk about the stuff we did on the video to the Banjo Jamboree video.
Yeah, maybe Jan can share a screen with the video.
Yeah,
So
you
we can
can
see it
share
here.
the screen.
Hold up.
The task for this festival was to record 3 pieces in one video. That's probably what you saw.
Yeah,
And I will probably let Jan to talk about it and introduce the song.
I don't have the privileges to share the screen, so
Okay, so I will do it.
yeah, okay.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's the one.
where is this recorded?
This is recorded at my house. We have
Okay.
we have a room with the
Good.
library, as you can see,
Yeah,
and we make it's like our home studio.
Yeah.
My mom is working there from home, and
Yeah.
it's like our home studio. So that's where all the recording at my house happens with my dad and me. And this is recorded on a 4 mic setup. As you can see, the bass is recorded, the trumpet mic, and 2 dynamic 2
that's
compensating
nice.
mics on the side.
yeah. I had
So yeah,
like here. It's a Swedish made. Thomas, you might know. It's called Göran Erlund. You know
Yeah,
him?
I heard about it. Yeah, these are good microphones.
Yeah, he gave me 2 of these. Gave me. I could,
Nice.
we played in
lucky you.
Yeah, I mean, we were playing in Örebro, and he said, Jan, I have something I'd like to show you. And I thought, he's got a bottle of liquor in the car, and he wants me to take a drink or something. But then he had these 2 little boxes with these, and he said, I'll give you these. They were like, I looked on the internet at the time, this is 10, 15 years ago, they were like $2,200. And he gave
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah. And they also gave me one of those contact microphones, that you can put on the fiddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard people use contact microphones on banjo on the head,
Hmm.
but I played a couple of banjos with this on, and I can tell the sound gets a lot shittier, if I would say.
It's like the fiddle, you know. I never heard you lose a lot of the tone, you know.
Yes, so we wanted to talk about the song. So the first
Yeah,
the first song, Blue Night, it's our opening song.
Mhm.
We
It's the
we
Cowboy
start
Brothers.
yeah, every show we start with this one. It's a really good fast song. Gets the energy going, gets the nerves going, gets everyone going. So
Yeah,
I can't think of a better opener than this one.
yeah. So this is what we're gonna hear now. Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
Blue Night United.
Blue night gets one night. Blue night can keep from crying. You met someone that was you quit someone that you was true. Blue night, that's one night. Blue night was I can be, and I don't know what's gonna me. I used to walk along with a naked heart. My love was gone. Blue night was I can be. Blue night, I'm all alone. I used to call you on the telephone. I used to call and make you glad. Now when I call and make some mad. Blue night, I'm all alone.
Oh yeah, I feel the wrong block there.
Blue night all by myself. All seems to put me on a shelf. There's just one thing in my soul. I ain't gonna read just what you saw. Blue night all by myself. Blue night all by myself.
That's good. That's kind of good.
This is what we start with all the shows.
Yeah, that's a good. You do it in A. Have you tried it in B flat or B?
Uh,
You
I can't sing any higher than
Okay.
this.
okay. It's kind of range, you know, because Blue Night you have to go really low there. But
Yeah, I have a bit of a lower voice, as I
Yeah.
would say.
well, you know,
Or-
the vocal pieces are not written in any particular key. You
Yes.
know, I played Molly and Ten Brooks in G and in C, so it
Yes.
depends on the singer, you know.
It depends on the singer.
yeah.
I mean,
It's not, you know, a
every-
lot of times you have inexperienced music and they learn the fiddle break in G, and then somebody wants to sing it in F or A, and
yes.
I learned my fiddle break in G, you know, I can't play it in C, and you have to just, you know,
I mean, if it's possible, then when the break is easier for the mandolin player to play, like in A, for example,
yeah.
I can adapt my vocals to like half flat, half a keys somewhere else, like higher, lower,
Yeah,
but not much more than that. So
right.
Yeah.
How long has Johanna been playing?
B would be awesome, but we have to be realistic, and we are playing Blue Night in A.
and
Yeah,
we're
we have
asking
some other pieces in B and B flat.
Yeah.
So it's we try not to have just like too many songs in one chord. So we
No,
have
that's
we
right.
play something in C. The next song maybe we can play the Dark Hollow. That's in C.
But
So
you were
the three
asking,
songs in this. Yeah.
you were asking
Sorry.
something.
Oh, I
Yeah,
was
you was asking something.
well, tell you what, I get sidetracked and then I'm lost.
It doesn't
Never
matter.
mind.
Never mind. So the next song, Dark Hello,
Mhm.
that's Johanka's song. She told us she wants to play this one because that was like the only song she learned the intro to.
Okay.
And I mean knew the intro to, not learned but knew the intro to.
Yeah, and
So-
we wanted to give some space also to Mandolin, not only banjo, so that's why we picked the Dark Hollow. Okay, let's get to it.
I'd rather be at some dark hollow where the sun don't ever shine than to be home alone and knowing that you're gone would cause me to lose my mind. So blow your whistle, freight train, carry me farther on down the track. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going, but I ain't coming back. I'd rather be at some dark hollow where the sun don't ever shine than to be in some big city in a small room with your love on my mind. So blow your whistle, freight train, carry me farther on down the track. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going, but I ain't coming back. So blow your whistle, freight train, carry me farther on down the track. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going, but I ain't coming back. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going, but I ain't coming back.
Yeah.
So
Good.
this was Dark Hollow with the main
Yeah.
role of Mandolin.
And there was a group that's been recorded a lot of people over the years. So it's really good. How was you? How did you find out about that song from your dad? From your dad, Jan, or somebody?
I don't really remember.
I don't.
I think, I know how I found about that song. I know one time Dan Tyminski made a post on his Instagram when he sang that song, and I was like, wow, that it's very easy song. It has only like two
Yeah.
two parts of
Yeah.
like vocals. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna learn this one. It has a great punch.
Yeah.
So that's how I found about that one.
To see if if I can share a screen here, but you know, if for the version I first heard was actually one with Bill Keith and it's David Grisman and Richard Green, Clarence White, the version. I can send you link. It's a very tasteful guitar break.
Okay, if you can send it to me on Facebook, I will definitely check it. I'm
Yeah.
always open for some new licks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, Clarence was like Tony Rice's mentor, and Tony always said, "I wonder what Clarence would sound like now." And when he was 29, he was killed. So,
Oh,
drunk driver.
okay.
But so it was a hard loss for Tony and for the whole bluegrass community. The plan was to, you know, start kind of the new Kentucky Colts with like Roland, Eric, and Clarence, and then Butch Robbins on the banjo, but it never happened, unfortunately. They had just come back from tour of Holland and Sweden, and they came back to the States and played one bluegrass festival at Indian Springs, 1973, and then like within a month and a half, he was killed by a drunk driver.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So, well,
Definitely send us a link. We will check it. Get some inspiration.
sorry, say that again.
Definitely send us a link and we will check it. So
Yeah, I do that. There's some really good guitar breaks on there if you want to study them. I can help you with some of it, of course, you know. But
sure, that would be
so,
great.
and you had the third song?
Yes.
Yeah, the third song comes from me, and the name of the song is Better Man. It's my Better Man. I'm
Okay.
leaving here a better man.
Okay.
It's my favorite song. When I first heard it, I heard it from the band G Guns N' Roses, the band here in Czech Republic. I would say one of the best here.
Yeah.
When I first heard it, I was like, "Damn, I have to learn this one."
And
Yeah.
It kind of stuck with me. I want to play it in every jam session I get to play with. So
that's how it ended up in our band. But
Yeah.
originally, it's not a bluegrass song.
yes,
I was looking for the roots of it, and it's an old country song with millions of views. So we got not us, but it was stolen by bluegrass bands and remade. So maybe let's get to our version of it.
Yeah.
Raz, dwa, trzy. What do you say when it's over? Don't know if I should say anything at all. One day
That's really good. There's some solid bass playing, I have to say. That's like Barry Bale, just simplistic and right on, you know. A lot of bass players are too busy, you know.
Yeah, we are glad we get Tomáš to our band.
Yeah, you're senior member.
Yeah, I'm actually the last one who joined this
Yes,
band.
yes, yeah. So you moved
Matyáš
in.
started with Johanka first, then Honza, and they have another bass player from the area.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we
But,
had
I think Matyáš, when did you start? It was August or July, something like that?
we met with Honza June 2024. We had our first rehearsal July 2024, and during October I think we decided
Yeah.
to get Tomáš to our band on bass.
I think it was early October, like 8th of October something, and 24 we played first jig.
Yeah.
It was good. With G Run and Roses, of course.
Yeah, with Guns N' Roses, yes.
I had so I just a story about bass players. IBMA 2015. I had like a Jens Kruger on banjo and some other friends, and Sean McCurr was the bass player. 30 minutes before we were going to go on stage, and Sean is a dear friend, but we can't broadcast this, I guess. But so he calls me like 15 minutes before we're going to get on stage with Jens and all these people. He said, "John, listen, I found the love of my life. I'm on the way to Virginia." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm sorry, brother, I can't make it." 30 minutes before we were supposed to play. I grabbed the young kid who was playing banjo real well on stage. I said, "Do you know the basic Monroe flat and scruggs kind of repertoire?" And he said, "Yeah, I think so." And I said, "Well, you're gonna be playing bass with us." and he said, "Well, what?" I
Nice.
said, "Yeah."
This
And
is the
then
advantage of jam sessions.
Jens is one of his banjo heroes, of course. But he did good, you know. But
Yeah.
it builds a terrible reputation, you know. If I mean, any musicians that is late for a gig or don't show up,
But
they won't.
I'm not sure if it's same in US, but in Czech Republic it's usually bass players with this kind of let's say approach.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the same. But thanks to the jam sessions, bluegrass players are usually able to play pretty much all of the instruments except banjo from jam sessions. So there is no problem replacing.
From my experience, there are usually more than one banjo players, and I have to play guitar because
We had a band. We had a band with 4 excellent banjo players. But they
damn.
played we only needed 1 banjo, so you know.
They say there is a room where they torture people, and there is a chair in the middle, and 4 banjo players around playing triple
Yeah.
creek.
I can relate to that. I mean, banjo players are, I mean, they can be really loud and unaware of dynamics. You know, they just play. They think bluegrass is just a banjo solo with vocal backup or something like that. You know?
Yeah, I have to say, Jan is trying to be very decent with playing the banjo. When
Yeah.
he sings a lot of songs, and there are also, of course, parts where he's not playing at all. So he's decent and he's not torturing us.
Yeah. But
Glad to hear that.
do you see Matyáš?
Yeah,
How do you say your name again?
Matyáš is fine.
Matyáš, yeah.
I do sing, but not on these 3 recordings.
Okay.
I have like 3 songs I sing, I think, in our set list. So yeah,
Yeah.
3 songs and some vocals in other songs. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, with singing in a foreign language, they're always changing it, you
Mm.
know.
I don't think
it-
it's that
I
challenging
think
for us.
no, you didn't. No, not much. I just said you said leave a better. In American English, the voiceless T becomes the voice sound.
Yeah.
So it'd be like leaving a better man.
Yeah.
So think about that. If it pisses you off that I say that, well, then I won't say anymore.
No, I think
Like in
these,
Sweden. In
No,
Sweden.
I take these advices with great. I mean, like, I don't get mad at people when they criticize me because it's always like I always have a
Helpful.
thing to think about when I'm playing the song next time. So
Yeah. I mean, like, for example, the Swedish language. In Swedish, there is no difference between voiced and voiceless S. So, like, rice and rise sounds like the same words to Swedish people.
Okay.
Rice, and then you see the difference. Rice, rise.
Hmm.
Do you hear the difference? Do you have that opposition in Czech?
I'm not sure if I would say it this way, because for us, English is, I think, a little easier in the way that we use it a lot as a Czech people.
because
It's more,
I would say it's use of language is a generational thing now.
Yeah.
and
For example, just let me finish. For example, you have people that didn't grow up with internet and YouTube and stuff.
Right.
So for these people, it's very difficult to speak English, to speak any other foreign language,
Mhm.
because they didn't grow up listening to it. They
Right.
didn't grow up reading it. And
Yeah.
we grew up with YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and Reddit and Twitter, and
Mhm.
all those things are in English. So we learn
Yeah.
English without even knowing it by
No,
listening.
it's not. It's not. The English competence is very high everywhere in Europe.
Yeah.
But it's like our our native languages. Is gonna color our perceptions of the sounds. So, like for a Swedish person, as and as, save as, whatever. But to Swedish people, it sounds like save ass, like ASS. So there's a difference. People, I mean, it sounds so funny. Like there was a band in Sweden that recorded a song that Alison Krauss had recorded, and it had the phrase, a jack of all trades, a master of nothing. None. You know what that means? Like a jack of all trades. Do you understand what that means?
No, not
Yeah.
really, but
Like a mångsysslare in Swedish, but nothing like somebody who can do a lot, but master of no, they're not really master.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, knows everything.
So, but they came out, and do you know these, Thomas? I'm not going to necessarily mention a name, but they came out to recording, and they sounded great. But there was this one word where they, instead of jack of all trades, they said a yak of all trades. And a yak is like that goat-like animal in the Himalayas, or
Yeah.
a yak of all trade. Or they sing ashes of love, cold ass eyes. My wife is the most tolerant. She'll never laugh at foreigners who try to speak English because she's learning Swedish. And
Yeah,
she
for
knows.
example, there is a fun story that one time, always the dobro player of the band Barbecue I play with my dad in, the dobro player was. There was a funny story when he sings the song. I forgot the name.
Take your time.
Banks of the Ohio.
Yeah.
There's a phrase, and she watched her as she was here as he floated down.
Yeah, as she.
Yeah, there's a
as.
funny story. She watched her as she floated down.
You know, that is such a hard sound in Sweden. I remember doing a workshop in Sweden one time, and about English, the language, you know, and speech sounds. And there was like at the university town, Lund, in southern Sweden, there was probably 12 PhDs in various fields, very educated people. None of them, not one of them, had even been taught that there was a difference between as and as. Because it's like Finnish people, they don't hear the difference between ge and ke. So they say, instead of go, but they say kuppe, you know. Thomas, you recognize the Finnish. So but now I'm getting sidetracked here. But anyway, if you want me to help you with pronunciation, it is, you know, you can write the most serious song. And then, listen, this is a classic. So they say, I'm going to get down on my knees and pray.
Yeah, knees and knees.
Knees and knees, you know, then it becomes, I don't want to even talk about it, but, you know,
Yeah.
go down on my knees and pray. People laugh. You can't, it's so out of context, you know.
All of people nowadays are dirty minded.
Yeah, no, but you see that's why those details that we don't have in our own languages, they're really hard.
Yeah, but I think there is a difference between speaking and singing in different language, because we listen a lot to American bands.
Yeah.
And I think that we learn a lot from just hearing the accent. So our speaking can sound like B1, B2 level, but the singing can be C1 because we are listening a lot.
Yeah.
We are
also when we are learning the lyrics. That's when we are listening to the recording and we match the vocal, like the notes that the singer is singing.
Yeah, there is also.
You know, it's a whole different. If like spontaneous speech production, it's totally different from learning something and you repeat like that's why people who stutter, they never stutter when they sing because they've learned these things.
Yeah.
But it's in the speech production where it gets sort of messed up, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also in the speech there's a difference that in your mind you are thinking in your native language and then you are transcribing the thinking into
Actually, I don't have this problem because our family lived for 2 years in Slovakia and I was going to English school there. So
where was that?
In Slovakia. We are living in Bratislava.
Yeah.
For 2 years, and that's where I actually started playing the banjo. It was during COVID. So.
You know, I have a bluegrass friend in Bratislava. Yes.
And what's his name?
Her name, Irena Pribilova.
Irena.
Irena Pribilova.
Ira. Do you know her?
Yeah, it says something to me. I think I heard about her.
I think I also heard something, but
yeah,
I don't know her personally.
No, me neither.
She was hooked up with a Potnici, or however you say it. Potnici. Do you remember that band? Robert Creston's band.
Christian.
I know that band. Yeah. Of course, I know them.
I think she was his girlfriend at some point.
Christian's girlfriend.
Can be, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but
I'm also not sure.
She's a professor of English at university.
Okay.
But
What-
it's interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
No, just what I wanted to say. Yeah, people sometimes are thinking in their native language and then transcribe it into English. Not everyone, but the difference in singing is that when I'm singing in English, I'm not thinking about
Right.
uh
Expressing it.
yeah, I'm just having the words in my ears and singing
I mean,
it.
you can hear Japanese singers.
Yeah.
And I spent 2 stints in Japan, one for 3 months and then for 6 months. And I played, I mean, whenever I could, I would find somebody to play with. And, they sang, Molly and Ten Brooks or, some bluegrass classic. And they have no idea what the song is about.
I think singing in English is a strong thing in Czech Republic because everyone here who is playing bluegrass is listening a lot. They know everything about the American bluegrass, so
Oh, they don't know more than people here in
yeah,
Winnipeg.
it's possible. We are
Yeah.
big enthusiasts here, so yeah.
Yeah, and I think the biggest difference between like the community in the USA and here is that usually like everybody, every band here in the Czech Republic that
Oh,
plays
yeah.
bluegrass. All the main people, all the organizers of the big festivals, all the teachers. And in USA there are just so many people that do this and so many new bands every day and
Yeah.
every hour that you can't
You
keep track.
you always meet new people. Every
Yes.
time I go to a festival, I come back with 10 new friends or more. Yeah.
But here in Czech Republic, it's really close and everybody know each other. And I
Yeah.
think this is something we come up with last year. There is finally some new band with high activity, and
Yes.
it's quite weird in Czech Republic that there is something new with this amount of gigs and the activity online. So yeah.
Thomas, how do you think the bluegrass culture or bluegrass communities differ between Sweden and the Czech Republic?
Yeah, it's in Sweden. It's much. I think it's not that many bluegrass bands, not that many festivals.
No.
I think the country music is more popular there, and even old time. So
Yeah.
when I lived in Sweden, I had problem to find a jam which was in a good distance. I lived in Sandviken. I traveled to Avesta, 150 kilometers for a jam. But I played a lot of old time jams in Stockholm. So here it's quite, here festivals starts already in, some of them in April, goes up to October. Some bands organize their own small festivals with several bands, and there are some big ones. And in Sweden there are the 3 or 4 main ones. And yeah, we have often Swedish bands in our festival. I was a downhill bluegrass band last year in Banjo Jamboree in Čáslav.
Downhill also came and visited me here in this room. So several Swedish. Jens Koch stayed here for about 6 months, I think, with me. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's see. I could sit here and talk forever, but I don't.